Celestial salutations, it's me, PRISM, and welcome to another episode of Shine or Decline. Before PRISM jumps into the video, I'm here with a couple of disclaimers. Firstly, this series is in no affiliation with RuPaul's Drag Race. It is simply for fashion and for fun. Secondly, I'm definitely a crafty queen and prefer to use hot glue, foam, and yes, staples. So here, we're going to be focusing on the overall vision of the look, how it fits the theme and the queen's aesthetic, and the styling from head to toe. Thirdly, this is meant to be a positive series, focusing on the queen's imaginations and enjoying the show, with a couple of PRISM's quirks thrown in. So if you have any really hateful comments to share, please, fuck off. Finally, remember to subscribe and like the video, as well as comment down below on who you thought was the best on the runway this week. That's it from me, so I'm going to throw back to PRISM for Shine or Decline. Light on! We're up to episode 4 of RuPaul's Drag Race Down Under Season 3, and this week the girls finally got to tackle Snatch Game. It's not necessarily about the main look in Snatch Game, so we're not getting into it. I actually really enjoyed it. I thought the girls all gave something a little bit different, even the ones that had done a character that had been done before. I can't believe I'm saying this. Maybe after the Snatch Game, I might be religious. Nah. So, onto this week's runway theme. I audibly gasped when it was announced. Like, literally, let's try and do a dramatic reenaction. Just... Runway theme is 900,000 Kylies. Oh! Yeah, it was basically exactly the same as that. The girls have to do a recreation of a Kylie look. Now, it's a bit odd because this is the second reference runway in a row. Last week we had villains, and now we have a specific celebrity. Obviously, I love Kylie because I'm Australian and alive. I know nobody asked, but I don't even know what I would have chosen. Actually, probably the gold hot pants or the mechanic's outfit from Neighbours. Let's jump into the runway. First queen to the runway is Bumper Love. I think this is meant to be Kylie's, like, big blue showgirl. Why is she green? I'm not angry at it. She looks gorgeous. Proportions are lovely. I like the headpiece, how it's a little bit more calling to her culture than the original showgirl. But I don't know if, like, the addition of so much green has worked towards her. I do actually really like her in the green hair, and I don't know what she did different with her makeup, but it's just, it looked far more pussy, if you will. Overall, I think that it does still give a reference to Kylie, but still adds in that bumper, which I'm noticing she does a lot, and I really appreciate. I think that shows a true understanding of self. And although this doesn't necessarily immediately read as the Kylie reference, I think that this runway sometimes can be about taking your own drag aspect and adding it to the reference. And I think that's what Bumper's done. She looks gorgeous and she's really learning how to serve it properly on the runway. And I think it was a successful look. I give Bumper a shine. Next queen to the runway is Ashley Madison. It's cute, it's nice, it's referential, it's immediately seen as I had a soy mocha before I started this, excuse me. I think it's really pretty, like the holographic choice of the pink kind of calls to how even the single cover had like a pink sheen across it, which is really lovely. Fits are great, the glasses are correct, and she's using a microphone as an added prop. I think this is very successful. If there's one thing that maybe could have had a bit more attention, it's the hair. We know I do like a bit of attention on the hair. Oh, that's right. She's given us a different silhouette and she exceeded exceptionally in the challenge, just quietly. I will say she does actually look closer to her own age in an outfit like this. Normally she goes a little bit more mature and bigger, but I feel like she's really hitting a point here, and I hope to see things as similar to come. I give Ashley a shine. Next to the runway is Floor. Now, Floor's doing the green absinthe fairy from Kylie's cameo in Moulin Rouge. It's cute, it's lovely. Like the bodice itself is so stoned, which I appreciate, and all of the glass beading around the bottom. I don't know if the necklace is necessarily needed. It is really nice, But I feel like it could have been like a larger pair of earrings to give that like dangle instead. Don't know if like she had a, did she have a shoe on?
She had a shoe on, and it's the style I proceeded to suggest.
Shoes. But I wish she had something a touch more strappy with this, just to elongate her leg, since the fringe is actually quite a bit lower than the panty line. It's more of like a skirting, really. Across the body, it's gorgeously pinned, really creates some beautiful shape and shows off the base of the bodice. Maybe the wings could have had some more attention. Again, just because she's so petite, maybe even just a bigger wing really would have added to that fairy aspect. Face is done, obviously. I think she did a great job to make a twist on the original reference. I give Flor a shine. Next to the runway is Rita Menu. Okay, first double up. And now I said this last week, when there's a reference runway, there is like obvious chance that two girls are going to do the same thing. However, there are some differences. Looking at Rita's, I see that it's seemingly a single piece, whereas Ashley's was two pieces. All of the pilots, oh. Is this because I said I wasn't religious? All of the paillettes, it's paillettes, right? All of like the little singular, all of the little sticky notes. They're like a little bit bigger than Ashley's, which pertains to her being a curvier girl. It adds kind of like that proportionizing. Where I like this is in the makeup and the hair. She's really paid more attention to the coifting of the original hair, really slick side, and some detail in the eye with a bit of blue and green really creates that offset as well. Early 2000s callback to the 80s that Kylie was kind of doing at the time. This is really gorgeous, and once again, something a bit different for Rita that I didn't necessarily expect and really enjoyed. I give Rita a shine. Next to the runway is Hollywood Star. So she's doing the Kyborg. Really incredible. If you actually haven't seen it, go on YouTube. It's like the opening to one of her 2000s concerts. Like, go and watch it. It's really iconic. This is it, but it's not. In the original, Kylie's is just a two-piece without this corset, and that's what creates the dramedy, that she takes off all of these cyborg pieces to reveal this tiny little gemmed two-piece. Really don't think it needed the corset moment. She's a skinny girl, she gives it, she's got some body. Kylie's a little skinny girl, I'm a little skinny girl. Like, you could pull it off. I liked how all of it peeled off her. That was some good mechanics, really cute additive, add some theatre. This is what I was saying. I love theatre on the runway. But maybe just a couple of ones on the legs, even if they were just kind of pinned and they were just released off, just to give that full effect of revealing the body underneath. But once again, that's me getting a little bit like, oh, I love theatre. She's hit the hair reference. That's exactly the hair. I like the choice of doing a brown hair, though it would have been nice to see her in that kind of iconic sun blonde that Kylie has. I like the gauntlets. The choice of boot cut is correct as well. So overall, with that and her bit of theatre on the runway this week, I give Hollywood a shine. Next to the runway is Isis Avis Loren. Another double up, but there are some pointed differences, and you can really see like the different points in their drag through these two outfits, I feel. Whereas Flor's kind of took more of like a softer approach and a bit of a boudoir reference, something a little bit 40s, something a little bit draped. This is far more showgirly and pays attention to a little bit more of the proportion with the cut of the leotard, as well as the size of the wings themselves and the hair being stacked up. I think that Isis has paid more attention just to how the beading is going to fall around the Puswana. That creates more of a waterfalling effect and echoes the shape of the actual leotard. Did prefer the pinning on Floor's, but this draping still creates a lot of movement, really adds that fairy effect. And did Floor have alcohol in her hand? Because this little prop was very fun as well. And she turned it upside down, and I was like, oh, There goes the magic. She's actually giving some Tinkerbell tease in this. Like, she really does look gorgeous. Face, beautiful. She knows that she's a leggy girl and she's serving it. I give Isis a shine.
I wonder if she stoned those tights herself. I'm sure she did. I didn't.
I mean, me too. Next to the runway is Gabriella Labucci. Done a bit of a different route, going a bit earlier, Kylie, doing something from the premiere of Delinquents. Yeah. And this wasn't necessarily the dress. The dress itself was like an X and an O, but she's taken it a bit different. I don't mind it, but I feel like maybe once again some choices were a bit peculiar. She's decided to extraordinate some areas and not others. The choice of turning it into a two-piece is cute, and I like the choice of going with like a peachy, tinsely hair. Just adds a bit more fun since Kylie was rocking like a blondie bob at the time. But I don't understand the open titty moment. It's like, why not? Actually, why not? I mean, at this point. The jewelry's nice. I really like the soft lip with the really dark eye on her. And she listened about the makeup critique on her eyebrows. It's a good reference, but still adds a little bit more fun, like we're used to with Gabriella. And because she's listened to critiques and really made the point, I think it pushes it above. I give Gabriella a shine. That's all 7 Queens Kylie looks done. Done? Dun-dun-dun, dun-dun, up in here, up in here, up in London. Make sure you catch the next episode of RuPaul's Drag Race on Stan, TVNZ, or Wow Presents Plus. And remember to like and subscribe so you don't miss another episode of Shine or Decline when we go over the fashions from next week's episode of RuPaul's Drag Race Down Under Season 3. Before you go, leave a comment down below on who you thought was the best on the runway this week. My name's Prism, and for now, lights off.